Hey everybody, I'm Laura DiCarlo of Career Directors International. If you're starting, currently thinking about starting, or actively building a resume writing or career coaching business, I am so glad you've joined me today. In this show, we share tools, strategy, and mindset tips that lead to your success without the stress. We are currently streaming on CDI's Facebook page, YouTube channel, and LinkedIn page. But listen, I'm not going to ask you to do any funky opt-in platform things. I'm just going to ask when you participate in the chat, please include your full name the first time so I know who I'm chatting with. All right, if you don't know me yet, my goal is to become your not so secret superpower. At Career Directors International, we provide everything you need to love and excel at what you do so you can make a difference while also earning an exceptional living as a career industry professional. So, with September being International Update Your Resume Month, a holiday CDI registered almost 24 years ago, today I am going to be giving resume writers and other career industry pros information on how and why to leverage this event throughout next month. And yes, we're getting started early so that you have time to plan. All right, before we do that though, I want to challenge you to do 3 things. First off, let me know who you are in the chat. I'm excited always to have this be a participative experience. So say hello and include your full name. Second, if you have questions while we're talking today, please, again, drop them in the chat so I can try to make sure they get answered. And finally, if you want to stay up to date with the show and not miss any, please be sure to like, follow, or subscribe depending on your platform because we go live every week, Wednesday at 3:45 p.m. Eastern. All right. So I have that caption down at the bottom of the page, the how and why of Update Your Resume Month for resume writers and other career industry pros. And that's a mouthful, taking up a lot of space. So I'm just going to drop that down and check the chat. All right. I see Laura. So, Laura Slauson says, hi, Laura. So I can see your name. Perfect. Hi, Laura. I'm so glad you were able to join. And I see Amanda Bryant. Says, hi, Laura, it's Amanda. All right, I can see both of your names. We're lucking out today that the streaming gods are granting us their favors. So perfect. Welcome, welcome, and thanks for joining me. All right, so if you're excited to talk about Update Your Resume Month, let's give me a let's go or ready in the chat. So, originally, Update Your Resume Month was created simply to provide job seekers with a critical reminder not to put their career health on the back burner and leave it to chance. And of course, as a professional association of resume writers and career coaches, we recognize the value this would have for those in our industry to also take advantage of this and leverage the opportunity. So, let me ask those of you who are joining me here live or when you're watching the replay, how many of you have heard from clients that they stayed longer in a job search than they should have, or they missed opportunities because they were unprepared, or they were maybe blindsided by a layoff? I'm talking about obviously because they did not have a professional resume ready to go. Let me know in the chat. I know I have. I had those last minute people coming to you. Oh my gosh, I have this recruiter, this opportunity, this fill in the blank. So I've seen this a lot. So very curious if you have. There is power in preparation, and a prepared employee knows their value and doesn't take their achievements for granted. They're going to be more confident and they can demonstrate their value in annual reviews. They're ready if a recruiter taps them on the shoulder. They're literally more prepared to pivot if negative circumstances befall them. Yes, Laura says this happens often. Yes. Yeah, running by the seat of their pants, right? That's not quite the phrase, but you know what I mean. So when it comes to professional resume writing, a necessity for job seekers who want to stand out and get ahead, it's far less costly and stressful for them to plan ahead and complete an annual resume update. So I'm going to go so far as to compare that to an annual health wellness visit with your doctor, because that's how important I think it is to not be leaving your career to chance, not being prepared at least once a year. So let me know in the chat if you agree with me so far. So why did we select September as Update Your Resume Month? This was selected as the targeted month to register this holiday because we looked at it as most children are back in school. We're between major holiday seasons, summer, and the different, from Canadian Thanksgiving and US Thanksgiving to all the other holidays that take place until New Year's. This seemed like the best month for people to just pause and focus on themselves and their own career caretaking in the form of, first and foremost, making sure they are updating their resume annually, or if they've never had it professionally done or they're changing careers, to delve further into that. So makes sense, right? Say yes in the chat if you agree. So it also creates a valuable platform for career industry pros. That's not just resume writers. It's anyone who works with job seekers in any area. But it's a great opportunity for us to educate job seekers around. And that's really the majority of my focus here today. But here's one thing. The mission has changed somewhat for CDI over the years. Yes, absolutely. It still stands for this opportunity for us to grow, get marketing and PR. And I have 8 strategies I'm going to share with you. And I know for some of you, I'm sounding like a broken record, but I need to entrench this knowledge as we are fighting to turn the tides for our industry. So, when I first started in the 90s in professional resume writing, it was a very small field. And most businesses had local audiences. Being an unregulated industry, there were, of course, great practitioners, okay practitioners, and lousy ones. You're even going to have lousy ones in regulated, but at least they knew the basics, whether they choose to apply them or not. But anyway, you pretty quickly went out of business if you weren't a master back then. And running CDI, I have very much seen this with every recession that our country has experienced. When we're in a down market, we used to, now it's a changed world today, but we used to see a lot of people would join CDI. We would never see them active or participating for the most part. And then a year later, they wouldn't renew, and they would often tell us, oh yeah, I got a job. So, over the past 3 decades, the world has changed a lot, though. So almost everyone has access to the ability to do business globally. The internet and the freemium economy has put so much bad advice in front of everyone. AI has made it possible for those who are completely clueless to provide a wash of professionalism across their unskilled or even sham services. And no longer are most doing business face-to-face, but rather pushing towards questionnaires, chats, or faceless phone calls. And I'm not saying everyone who does those things is bad, but it does create challenges for those of us who are serious about doing what we're doing professionally and well. Of course, other issues we come up against today are that professional resume samples can be stolen, unverified testimonials can be faked in many places, except LinkedIn. Certification mills and fake credentials can mislead. So, today, if you're terrible at what you do and you get bad reviews, you literally can just pop up under a new web banner the next day. Now, again, I'm not saying resume writers are bad. I want to stress that. And I know that anybody who shows up to this or watches this is somebody who takes their profession very seriously. But in many ways, this is a call to action if you've been heads down and unaware of what is taking place and the urgency of which we need to be speaking out against it and educating job seekers, the world, other practitioners, and whatnot. So literally, despite there being 1.6 million on LinkedIn claiming to be professional resume writers, I'm personally going to lower that number to probably, several thousand, and that might be being generous. I'm really curious to see what those of you who are joining me or watching the replay think. Let me know in the chat about what you think, really qualified. And when I think really qualified, I'm bracketing that as you know, folks whose clients, folks who see clients getting interviews from their targeted resumes in under 30 days. Does that happen with every client? No, but should it be happening if you're doing this effectively? Heck yeah. All right, so sorry, I promise I will be off of this platform here in a minute and sharing with you strategies. You know, I don't believe that most people who start resume businesses are trying to scam job seekers. That's not what I'm saying at all. I mean, they are definitely out there. They're out there in every industry that we see. But so often, even professional resume writers, having not joined a professional association or not being focused on continuing education and believing that nothing ever changes, they get stuck and they tend to not necessarily know much more than a job seeker doing it themselves would do. And that can hurt. So, you know, read the wrong subpar book, follow the wrong generic templates, take the wrong course, don't take a course at all, fake a certification. I mean, these things add up to lots of problems in our lovely world. I love the internet, but we know it helps as much as it hurts in many cases. So, you know, if our clients, and if you've had somebody come to you who feels like they were taken advantage of by, and I mean, we often hear, oh, I got scammed. Well, it could be a very well-meaning professional who wrote their resume. And I've even seen resumes where job seekers are like, oh, this person was terrible. The resume is good, but maybe the job seeker didn't know what to do. But this piles on us because we as practitioners, especially if you're self-employed, are now having to, in some ways, defend ourselves and have arguments for why they should trust us. So education is a huge platform that I've been talking about with job seekers, and that's why I love Update Your Resume Month, because it can be a great way to cut through the noise and help job seekers to know, like, and trust you, while also giving you an opportunity for marketing, media coverage, publicity, and whatnot. So I'm off the platform, I promise. There's a lot more I could have said, but I think you get the idea. But it is an urgent problem. So I very much hope that everybody who, going forward, not just for Update Your Resume Month, but year round, is looking at the importance of what I've been talking about in the whole arena of job scams, you know, helping to educate job seekers so that they can know, like, and trust you. And so we can somewhat stop swimming upstream, maybe against this hyper belief that resume writers are bad and that resumes are DIY. Because I don't know, let me know in the chat. I think you all agree resumes should never be DIY. Okay, so this is my life's work. Obviously, I'm passionate about it. So all right, so we are at that point where we're going to talk about how you can make the most of Update Your Resume Month to build awareness, acceptance, visibility for your specialized knowledge and services, hopefully to drive new business to your company and services, gain publicity through local and hopefully possibly even national media. So if you would like any of those things, let me know in the chat now. All right. I have 8 things that I like to recommend around Update Your Resume Month, and they run from the simple to the more complicated, and not in any particular order though. So here we go. So first off, you can create an event tied to Update Your Resume Month. Because let's talk about this. Anytime there is a national or registered holiday, it's a great opportunity for us. It's like we have an excuse to talk about a subject at length. Hey, I'm offering this for Update Your Resume Month. Hey, for Update Your Resume Month, using that logo, whatnot, to stand out. Even, you know, for the first several years I ran CDI, the whole Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Cyber Week seemed like, gosh, do is that weird for us to do that? Well, people invest in career services this time of year, or their own business, and the reality is that yes, they will. So events just make it easy for you year round to find things to tie your business and your services to. So again, the first one, create an event tied to update your resume month. So this could be it could be paid, but more likely it's going to be free with an offer involved. Or if you are afraid that you won't, that you'll get like lots of signups and then they won't show, you can opt to either make it a very low fee so they have some skin in the game, and low fee for workshops online typically look like $7, $14, $29, maybe $47. Depends on whether we're talking to an engaged, warm email list, or we're talking more, or we have lots of followers, or we're talking out into the void of, complete cold strangers as to what we might accomplish, or if we're using an ad. Again, that whole freemium thing, I feel like people are trained to expect stuff to be free on social media when it's workshops, webinars, whatnot. But it can be challenging because people sign up and then they don't show up. The other thing you can do is, reserve your spot with a refundable deposit if you show up. I see that a lot in live in-person events, but not necessarily so much in online events. But one thing I do see is upsells, which, you kind of potentially need to have a more fancy funnel to have an upsell, but it can be sign up for the free webinar, or teleclass, or however Zoom you're going to do it. And once they put in their information, typically just name and email address for the free, then you typically see a pop-up of, pay this, invest now in the transcripts and the video replay. Because there's nothing that says just because you do something for free means you have to provide the recording for free. Now, usually we do see that, but there are opportunities, and I have invested in them where it was like, oh, it was free to sign up, but they just want $27 to give me access to the recording and the transcript. And I'll be like, yeah, or, some added bonus. So there are ways to shape that and frame that if you want to do so. But again, an event, online, in person, you could potentially go to your community center, your women's group in town, women's center. I'm thinking about things I have in my area, local community college, local university. There are so many places, a chapter of a professional association, a national professional association. Think about your niche and how you might also tie this in. If you have a Facebook group, you might do a special live in there. You might announce you're just going to do a live on your platform like I'm doing here now. But it's a great way. If you're going to do it for free, honestly, if you're going to do it for any reason, I would still have some kind of an offer at the end. And if you don't have something, if you don't think you have something to sell, if you're a CDI member, go take advantage of those done for you white labeled tip sheets that you can sell or give away. Those are the bomb, and I think there's 9 now, and we're about to add the 10th. So those are great because you can put a dollar value on them, or you can make them a bonus for, sign up, get the recordings plus this special bonus, or $7 gets you this extra bonus. I love stuff like that, especially because it's branded for your company and it's already done for you. Okay, number 2. And again, if you've got questions or thoughts on these as I'm going, please drop them in the chat. So the next one is to leverage the Update Your Resume Month event in articles and blog posts. So, do you have a newsletter on LinkedIn? Do you maintain your blog? And of course, share about those posts on social and with your mailing list. Is there a page that you might write an article for on Update Your Resume Month? I woke up last night, I was in bed a couple nights ago, and I was like, Should I do an article for Forbes Coaches Council on Update Your Resume Month? Now that I said that, somebody would probably beat me to it, but it's like there are opportunities out there to get your name in print, also pitching them to the media, which I think might be, I'm getting ahead of myself with one that's further down my list. But it's a great opportunity as something to talk about. And that leads very clearly to my third item, which is to get visible with social media tips with a series tied to Update Your Resume Month. So, you're probably seeing a theme here. Like I'm talking about Update Your Resume Month in this show, and then in the weeks to come, I'm talking about resume writing strategies. On social media, I'm talking about vetting resume writers and professional resume writing and what to look for and what to do and tips. So it's like it's all surrounding the topic of professional resume writing. And I think too often, if we don't have a regular process for social media, we kind of think of one and done. Like, hey, it's Update Your Resume Month, and here's some things you should do, or here's why you should come see me. And then we're stuck thinking about what do I do now? Whereas instead, it's so much more powerful if you sit down, if you haven't already, filled your queue for August and September, to literally make a series. What are the things that I see job seekers, what's the bad advice I see needing to get corrected around resume writing? What are the things clients always ask or don't expect, or what makes professional resume writing, more valuable, or what things do I need to, fix, change, improve, correct for job seekers? Why should they pick me? And you can literally create a educational campaign where you're dropping one tip a day instead of trying to do this. How much can I fit in my 2,400 character post or less if you're on Instagram? So plan it out, one tip a day. And I have done other shows on the whole social media and how to get ahead. But the short version is when you can tag people in your posts, when you can ask a question that gains engagement and tag people to participate in your post, and then stay on top of that to reply, that can be valuable too. So social media, not a one and done, make it a month-long campaign where you are educating on resume writing. And if it's a main service that you offer, it just goes hand in hand. And I also want to stress, don't panic if you're like, oh gosh, I just finished talking about resumes every day 90 days ago because I didn't know Update Your Resume Month was coming. This is not a big deal because quite honestly, job seekers and your colleagues, they're not seeing everything you post every day in general. They're not, especially job seekers, they're not online on the platform every day necessarily hunting out your content. And if they are, more power to you. But in general, people don't remember what they saw 90 days ago. And I have seen some of your colleague practitioners with the biggest followings, they're recycling content on a very regular basis. This is the sort of thing I pay attention to, but I'm rare, I'm studying what's working and what's not. And I don't think most people, especially your targets, are doing that same thing. So another thing you can do is offer a September only special for Update Your Resume Month. Now, let me stress that I am not a big fan of price reduction bonuses. I don't want you to ever cut your prices unless, of course, you have already built your pricing in to have that cushion. So, to take a price that's already optimized and cut it for September is not the way to go. We have a really awesome lesson that's accessible only for CDI members that I think has something like 13 or 19 different ways you can offer bonuses and incentives to job seekers without cutting your price. my favorite things are that add-on item. Having an add-on item, like, everybody who signs up during Update Your Resume Month gets this tip sheet for free, value at X dollars, or this again, those done for you job seeker tip sheets through CDI, or you might have a tip sheet of your own, or a my brain is ticking. Maybe you have a template that you've created. We do have one of the free CDI lessons that is available to non-members on our free stuff page is a reference page template and instructions. So I always recommend that reference pages in your packages, but if it's not, this could be get a free reference page package, blah blah blah. Valued at $99 or whatnot. So those are my favorite types of incentives, where you're just adding something. It could also be that you add, if you have a relatively busy practice, one of the things I love to add is a live Q&A call. I do that with a lot of our courses that are self-study, and when we want to see people taking advantage of those, we will say, everybody who signs up in September, gets to take part in this 90-minute free Q&A session, which has $199 value. So things like that can be very valuable. And if you want to do a free, or you want to add in something that's not, I would say always pick something that's not a large time constraint for you. Like, when you discount something like the actual resume, that can be a challenge. Now, one thing you can do for Update Your Resume Month is 10% off. I know that's a discount, but 10% off of updates for existing clients. That can be something you send to your list. Hey, did you know that September is Update Your Resume Month? Because it's important, blah, 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 the whole spiel about Update Your Resume Month. That's one of the places where I feel like, giving that price benefit to an existing client can be beneficial and doesn't hurt much, 10%. In that scenario, off of a new resume, it can take a chunk if you're not optimized for it. All right. I don't see any questions or comments in the chat, so I'm going to go forward to number 5. So super simple, easiest thing you could possibly do is to go over to CDI and grab the Update Your Resume Month logo, add it to your signature line, add it to your website, maybe feature it on your LinkedIn or in your Facebook group if you have one that you've created. Put it on, did I say website? Anyway, it's something you can put everywhere during September, and it's a logo that it does say, created by CDI, but it is the logo that we recommend anyone, member or non-member, can use because it's the official logo of the registered annual event. And, maybe put a tagline with it that says, contact us for your, free resume consultation today, which could be your regular tagline. But now you're like, oh, it seems special because it's involved with Update Your Resume Month. And why do I need to know about Update Your Resume Month? This might be something important for me to look into. So I will share a link to where you can grab that logo with the replay, as well as I'll put it on the screen later in the show. You won't be able to grab it, but you can scramble to write it down. Hopefully you're all on the mailing list, the email list, so that you're getting notifications of these replays, typically the day after the show, sometimes the night of, depending on what's going on in CDI. I never like to send more than one email in a day. And if I could help it, no more than one email in a week. But usually there's something really cool going on we've got to send out. If you're not on the list, you can just go over to the CDI website, careerdirectors.com, take the quiz on the number one thing blocking you from a six-figure business. That's top banner of the website, or go to our join page and Join the wait list for membership, or on our free stuff page, there is an opt-in option there as well. All right, Laura Slauson says, love and have used the logo in the past. Great idea about monthly, weekly topics and a small giveaway. Yes, excellent. Which small giveaway, thank you for saying that, because I do want to say, if you do an in-person event, because I actually mentioned that whole brick and mortar kind of thing with like local organizations and chapters, if you should do something like that, I definitely recommend having a, put your email address on this list that I'm going to pass around, and I will send you this tip sheet or this or that, so that you have a way to benefit from, or ask the organization, in exchange for me doing this for free, will you give me a list of all your members so I can communicate with them? So those are a couple of ways you can further leverage those in-person events, and giveaways are always great. People are more likely, like, oh, to get the event notes or this tip sheet or that whatnot. They're more often going to give you their email address than if it's like, if you'd like to get on my list. God, we're all so overwhelmed by lists, right? And if they don't have lots of good content, even if they do, people can be scared. Okay. Let's move on to number 6 of 8. And this is, as I started jumping into a little early, pitch your expertise to the media for Update Your Resume Month. So in CDI, our members have access to sample press releases, media pitch letters, professional pitch letters, and even sample client letters. I think there's, I say professional pitch letters. I meant a professor pitch letter, for sending to a professor. We have a variety of different things, but here's a nifty thing. Depending on who your clients have been, this may or may not benefit you. So many years ago, when I knew nothing about media and publicity, and the internet wasn't, we didn't have the breadth of internet like we have now, where you can just find anybody and anything. I really wanted to get publicity for Update Your Resume Month. And I had a client who worked in media and PR. So I traded her some, consulting support and strategy support. I don't remember now, did I actually do resume writing work for her? I don't know. It doesn't really matter. But the point is that in exchange for the work I did for her, she acted as my media representative, and she actually pitched me to Central Florida media. And I actually did. I was supposed to be interviewed on 9/11 that year, which was the 9/11. So as you can imagine, that did get pushed aside and didn't happen. But I always have looked at that as an eye-opening experience, because it showed me that often we have people in our networks, whether they're former clients or friends or colleagues, that doesn't require us to go learn, how do I pitch the media? Who are my media contacts? What should I do? Often we know somebody that we can possibly trade with, who will act like our professional representative in exchange for us being, their professional support function where we have expertise. So great opportunity. But this is the time. You have a hook. You've got Update Your Resume Month, and different media outlets are looking for things to write about. And I do really, this could actually be, even though it's only August 14th, we're behind the times for things being published in a timely manner for September, which is why we're talking about it now. Probably should have been talking about it in July, but my feelings were no one would be listening if I talked about it that early, or they would forget. So look around. Who can you leverage? And if you're in CDI, you can take advantage of all those resources, which I am linking to on the replay page, to where those can be found. All right, so here's another take. This is another participative support one. You could interview guest experts for Update Your Resume Month. So maybe you're not a professional resume writer, and this does apply for professional resume writers, so that's not out. But there is such a plethora of people you could interview who you possibly already have in your network. If you're in CDI, you probably know them in your membership from attending our included member events, or maybe just simply from searching the directory or participating in our Facebook community. But you could interview a recruiter. You could interview why did I just go blank? My goodness, that is so funny. If you're not a resume writer, you can obviously interview a variety of different resume writers. Here's advice from a Tory winner. Here's advice from a certified master resume writer. Here's advice for job seekers who are pursuing federal jobs. I kept thinking financial. That is not the word I'm looking for. Federal jobs. Here's advice for military to transition job seekers. So, finding those supporting. Also, update your resume month if you're a resume writer. So I can understand you're not going to want to interview other resume writers. And that's why I mentioned, recruiters. But there are other, even though it's a resume month, you can still talk about all things job search, so getting ready with Update Your Resume Month is more than just a resume. Today, we're talking about image, we have an image consultant joining us to talk about, how you show up with your resume. So there's a lot of different people that you could interview on, say, a show or a series of articles, blog posts, whatnot, tips. You've probably seen, if you follow CDI, that, will include, I've done whole months where I was doing one interview a week with a person, and then 6 of my posts, so 7 days. One is, hey, the show is today, and the other 6 days are tips I'm sharing from that interview I did. So leveraging and repurposing content. Always, if this is the goal for your business, always with that call to action for your own business at the end of those items, obviously. Hopefully. I won't say obviously, I'll say hopefully. Hear me. Okay. All right, number 8. We are at number 8, my final one, and I don't see any questions or other ideas popping up in the chat yet, so let's roll with that. This is another super simple one, and that's to provide a free Update Your Resume Month worksheet to clients and prospects. So, and this is something you can literally start doing now with your existing paying clients. And it can be something for prospects if you can find a use in that vein. But we actually have a Update Your Resume Month public job seeker page. And let me go ahead and put the link to this page I keep talking about on the bottom. So for those of you who are just listening and not able to see it, it's careerdirectors.com/job-seekers/update/job-seeker. I'll just start over. careerdirectors.com/job-seekers/update-resume-month. Gosh, that's a mouthful. And that's why I encourage you to go to the replay page and be signed up to receive those. But that is our public page for job seekers. On that page, there's a link to where resume writers and career coaches can learn, see me reiterate these 8 things in a shorter written format, get the logo and download it. But there's also this great little template worksheet. Yeah. That's literally just a capture form. And if you use a questionnaire with clients, you'll probably want to use your version, or you might want to go grab, if you're a member, grab the actual questionnaire and adapt it for this purpose. But we have created and provided this free tool that is on that page that you as a career practitioner can download and use free of charge and without, obligation to CDI, and job seekers can access it as well. But this is valuable. Think about the importance of, as part of your, closing outtake, whatever you want to call it, process with your clients if you were actually, saying, now I understand you're, going into your job search, or maybe if you might do it that way if you're not really great with follow up with your clients, then you need to get that out right away. But if you are encouraging clients and building the relationships where they're coming back to you with their success stories, and they landed, and they're providing you with their metrics driven results, which again, CDI members, I can point you to a resource. I even have a resource that's free for non-members on the whole testimonial process and getting these testimonials that really pre-close our prospects with less selling. Anyway, so if they're coming back to you, then is the time to educate them on the whole, you're now entering a new job. This is so exciting. I can't wait to hear how it goes, but I want to encourage you. And this is obviously easier if they came to you completely unprepared for the resume you just did for them, is that we want to make sure, so you're saying to Joe, your client, or Mary, your client, we want to make sure that when the next opportunity for a review with your current employer comes up, or a recruiter taps you on the shoulder, or you want to apply internally or externally, something you find out about an opportunity, or hope this doesn't happen, obviously, you get laid off or terminated. If you have taken the time, put aside time each month or as it happens to document contributions you've made, projects you've worked on, different value adds you've had, you're going to be so much more ready. And I want to encourage you, almost to the point where I'd say, let's put it on the calendar now. We're going to meet back a year from now to do your resume update so that you're always ready and you have the confidence of seeing the value you bring, like you experienced when I first showed you your resume. I've actually seen professional resume services include in their package the first update. So that's actually something you can even price to include. I think that gets a little tricky, obviously, because what if somebody's a career changer or they go back to school? There's a lot of moving parts there. But if your price is optimized, it's altogether possible that you can do that. So let me know in the chat what options sound good to you. I know Laura Slauson has shared some of the ones she likes. If anybody else wants to share, or if Laura, anything else pops up to you, or if anybody has any other ideas while I am closing us out, I would love to hear them. Knowledge is power, right? So it's so critical that we band together to educate everyone about professional resume writing, during Update Your Resume Month, as well as throughout the year. And it's equally critical that we always hold ourselves to the highest possible standards. I mean, after all, we are holding job seekers' lives in our hands. So this matters more than I can ever say. And if you agree with me, let me know in the chat now. So what's coming next? Going forward, I will be sharing so much more best resume writing practices in support of Update Your Resume Month. So be sure to tune in. And if you have something you want to hear me talk about in terms of resume writing, send us an email. You can shoot it over to info@careerdirectors.com, or you can reply to the replay email that some of you are going to receive tomorrow. So don't forget, we go live every week. So next week, talking about resume strategies, and I can't tell you what yet because I haven't honestly decided. It's going to be 3:45 Wednesday. So like, subscribe, and whatnot now, so you could be reminded of that. All right, I will again be sharing those links to Update Your Resume Month. I'm going to take that off the screen now because I want to show you something else. And let's see in the chat. Laura says, I agree. We hold their lives and the lives of their families in our hands. Great presentation, Laura. Thank you. Thank you, Laura. It's the Mutual Laura Appreciation Society today. All right, so if you are new to CDI or you haven't been to CDI in a while, I want to just encourage you so much to go over to careerdirectors.com/free stuff. That's free stuff, one long weird word. Over there, you are going to find a ridiculous amount of resources. We actually have not one but two testimonials on there now from people who one is in the process of becoming a member, and the other became a member after the free resources alone helped him to hit the six-figure mark with his business. So we might be giving a lot away, but I always have to say, if it's that good on the outside, imagine what the support and resources are like on the inside. So when you go over to the free stuff page, you're going to find the opportunities to join our member community for support and knowledge and engagement. You'll have access to lessons, tutorials, best practice tip sheets, that quiz I mentioned earlier about what's blocking you from building a six-figure income. Plus, more importantly, it actually curates the free resources and tells you where you should be focusing for your biggest blocker. And you're going to have the opportunity to subscribe so that you get things like our replay. So please check it out. And always remember, you do not have to be a member for many of our courses and certifications. Our members do save, but that is one way to do it. If you're just wanting a particular thing and are just not a joiner. This is a unique economy we live in where people think that that freemium world is everything, and sometimes it is and sometimes it isn't. But anyway, come check it all out, careerdirectors.com/free stuff. All right, so with that, we are at the end today. I thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you next week. And I'm super excited to see what everybody does for Update Your Resume Month. Please do not hesitate to tag Career Directors International in your posts. We love to see what everybody is doing, and we love to support you. So I will see you around. Have a great day, and let's fly higher.